Hello friends, it's Sherry. How you doing today? Welcome to my channel and thank you so much for joining me. I'm here to share with you some things I've been working on off video. So I thought you would enjoy, seeing what I do when I watch TV, maybe in between videos in my craft room, whatever. So only the last week, I've taken my scrap box and it was twice as full. So let me show you my scrap box real quick. It is right here. See how much paper's in there? Well, this is all of my scraps. So it was about twice as full, right? Maybe about twice as full. So I went through that and I pulled out a lot of cardstock. And with the cardstock, while I was watching TV, I took one of my paper punches and just punched out all of these tags right here. Isn't that a beautiful sight? I think it is. So I've got all of these cardstock tags now. I can put strings on them. I can write on them. This is a piece of wallpaper here. Isn't that cute? That was not cardstock, of course, but it was, I guess I should say, thicker than paper. So that was thicker than paper. So I used some of that. Plus it worked out perfectly where it had these little hearts. Anyway, you get the idea. All kinds of pretty, some are scrapbook paper, file folder, just, different cardstocks. This was some music that was on cardstock that I received with, I think that was In Love Arts. It was like a backing. In Love Arts are kind of like packaging. This is just a pretty piece of, I think this was a piece of wallpaper that I had backed with coffee dyed paper, and then I didn't use it, and it looked kind of like a scrap from whatever project. And so that turned into a pretty tag. And so a lot of file folder scraps that were just plain file folder, even some black. This was my coffee dyed, writ dyed file folder. So those are nice, like pretty, like a grungy-ish tags now. So you get the idea. That's just something if you're trying to figure out what to do with your scraps. There you go. This is a punch that I've had since I pretty much started making journals. That's one of the first punches I bought, is this that I got on Amazon. This little punch with this kind of scalloped top here. It's not that I have the smaller one too. This is just in case you want to know and go look for it and you don't have it. This is the one that is about 2 inches wide. It's a little bit more than 2 inches there. And from the very top to the bottom, it is about 3 1/4 inches. So that's what I did with that to clear out some scraps. And I wanted some tags to like maybe put in my orders and use for a little. I'm trying to see if I can get away without buying cards. I love the cards, but they do cost money. And if I could use what I have, like especially my scraps, and put them to good use, like writing notes in my orders, wouldn't that be nice, just to save that money and use my scraps at the same time. And then let's see, what else did I do with my scraps? Oh, okay, so I took all my papery, not all, I have more, and I'm going to do some more this week, but I made, ignore this because I'm going to show you this in a second, but this is what I made with my scraps. But say I took all my papery scraps and cut them in little squares to match this size of this Monopoly card. And so I made all of these little squares. I sat, when I was watching TV, and just cut all of these little squares. And the thing that was hard about these, it takes a little longer than having whole pieces of paper that you can put in your paper cutter and cut, and there you go. You have, 12 squares. These were just scraps, so they're all different sizes. So you kind of have to cut them one or two, maybe you have 2 scraps the same, but whatever, you kind of have to cut them 1 or 2 or 3 at a time to get, so this took way longer than I thought it would, but, it took this week. So I got all of these cut. And then this morning I made this little booklet. That was my goal, to make a little booklet like this. So I took the Monopoly card for the top cover. You see a little waterworks card, and then some of my little squares. They're all random, so it's a cute little junk journal, or it even could be almost like a glue book. I don't know. if, you know, it's just, these are 3/4 inch wires, you know, the O-ring wires that I put on here. So I don't know if it would really be a good glue book, because by the time you glued something on here, it depends on what you glue on here. It would be pretty elephant, but that could be pretty, right? Let me look at that. Let me see if I can show you. Anyway, you get the picture. I made a little booklet, and I put as many papers as I could in these rings that I felt like I could. So this is about, just under 1/2 inch there, if you can see that, just under 1/2 inch. If you squish it really well, it's still over 1/4 inch, so almost 1/2 inch. If I left it without squishing it, it is 1/2 inch. So you get the picture on that. So I was going to show you how I did those, in case you've never made a, you know, O-ring type booklet or journal or anything. And so, and also, I coffee dyed I've been coffee dyeing music and paper this week, because I have those listings in my shop, and I want to keep that stock up. I like to have them ready when somebody orders. I don't want to do it after they order. I have them ready to go, right? So that's why I only put like 3 or 4, whatever I have in my listing. That's how many I have ready to go. So I also had these sitting around. I had picked up at a thrift store. You know, you can get these at Walmart and stuff, but I saw these, little packet of these tags. They're just these little ones like this. They're not the tiny ones, but you can see they're these little cute ones, right? And I was like, they were white, and I was like, I hadn't used any yet, and I just got them a few weeks ago, really, but I thought, you know, these would be really cute coffee dyed. So I just dumped the whole package in my little bowl of coffee, and I let them sit for a little bit, because I wanted them to soak up the coffee real good, and the strings and everything. And then I just, you know, I didn't even spread them out. I just like took them out of the coffee and laid them down, like, and let them dry like that. And this is how they came out. So I've got these really awesome, you know, I've said it before, I love coffee dyed stuff. So now I've got some really awesome, these are strings that came off apparently, but anyway, I have some awesome coffee dyed strings and an awesome pile of coffee dyed tags here. So that was fun. You know, I love coffee dyeing. And then another project that I had to do, did this just yesterday, really. Just yesterday I worked on this during the day, Saturday. Yesterday was Saturday. So, not this here, this goes with my little booklets. But yeah, I watched Nicole at Relax Cut Glue, and she had made some coffee dyed paper out of Astro Bright's paper, right? So I was like, oh, that is so cool. I love them, except I didn't want to. She baked hers in the oven. I didn't want to do that this time. I've never baked any of my coffee dyed paper in the oven. So, you know, I'm kind of like afraid of I burn the house down or something. So I just coffee dyed them like I regularly do coffee dyed paper. So like she said, she put them in a pan of coffee and water. She let them soak, and then she I guess dried them in the oven. I'd let mine air dry. So this is how they came out. They're really cool. I wanted to show you because I think they're really pretty. So just coffee, just coffee. And then the thing is, I put about, see, there's about, in this package I got at Walmart, with that package of assorted, and they have different colors, like pastels and this and that and the other. This one I thought was more fall colors. It had like red, yellow, orange, blue, green, and purple. So I just took one of each color, which is about 5 or 6 colors, whatever it is, stacked those together, dipped them in the coffee, let them soak, and then left them together, put them on my surface where I air dry my coffee dyed papers, and let them dry until they were dry, right? So, and it does take a little longer because you're not just drying, like usually I have one sheet of paper drying on my surface, right? I had like 5 or 6 together. I left them together so that they could absorb each other's colors. So this is how they came out. See, this is probably the red. You can see the red more on this side, and this must have had an orange or a yellow on it. But the colors, what she said is the colors bleed. So they, each color absorbs the color that is on top of it. So that's the red with whatever color was on that. This is the orange or yellow. I mean, look at how beautiful that is. You know, you just got these different colors. That's just from coffee dyeing. and letting the colors blend. And that was orange on that side. Here's a blue one. And you can kind of see the coffee too, as far as it kind of, because they're pretty bright Astro Brights, right? They're kind of bright colors, and it kind of, you know, dulls the color down a little bit. Here's the purple one, and it kind of did this to it. That's kind of got a gold color on top of it, doesn't it? With it, but really, I really like how these turned out, just like this, just without the oven baking. See that? And I think I showed you all the colors except for green. Was the bottom one purple? Yeah, I showed you purple, but here's the green. And they come out different. Like, of course, you know, every coffee dyed piece of paper comes out different, whether it's just coffee dye, whether it's colored with coffee dye, whatever. You know, that's kind of like what I like about coffee dyeing. See that? Each piece is different and unique. No two are the same. So, like, you know, I put it in my listing, like, each batch is different, you know. I have a picture there. This is an example, but each piece, each batch, it comes out different. I don't know. It's just how it is. This is how it works out, right? So I'm just going to flip the rest of these real quick. There was a couple of that were really unique that had some kind of different little, look at that, different little, oh, this is it right here. See that little splotch? I don't know how that happened. I probably couldn't do it again if I tried. And the little spots and stuff. Isn't that cool? And I didn't, you know, try to do that. It just happened. So here's another one with a little splotch on it. I thought they came out really cool, and I thank you, Nicole, for the awesome, you know. Of course, like she said, it's really easy, but you know, I never thought of dyeing colored paper before. So look at this one. I like this little line here. See that? Isn't that cool? Won't that be cool in a journal? So, yeah, she made some glue books out of her paper. Oh, here's another one. Isn't that cool? Look at that orange and yellow. So, yeah, that was super fun. And I might try some baking because I looked at her video again after I watched her video before this, and I watched it after. I was like, oh, okay. Now I see the difference between the oven baking and just letting it air dry. So I might, like, today is Sunday, so I might go, and since I'm home and, you know, have a little time to guard the oven, I might, and they probably dry pretty quick in the oven too, so I might go and try and put like 5 alarms, you know, around my house to go off when I think I should, if I walk away and I go check on them so I don't burn down the house. But also I was going to show you how I made this little booklet. So super easy. I just have this little Zutter bind it all, and I decided on my front and my back cover, which was this one. The other one was a Waterworks. This little one here is a Waterworks, and this one I pulled out a little short line railroad from Monopoly, and these are vintage little Monopoly pieces that I have picked up at a thrift store, of course. And I'm using this Greene. It's kind of a, you know, solid cardstock, so I'm using that for the back covers. And then the rest of the pages are papery. So all I'm doing is, I had cut these papers, and there was, like, you know, a bunch of yellow, a bunch of this, bunch of that, because I was cutting up papers and just stacking them up. And then this morning when I made the other one, I kind of shuffled them around, so I don't have to keep, like, collating them into little you know, separate pieces. So now I can grab a chunk, right? I can grab a chunk and they're ready to go and make me a little booklet, right, like this. Okay, so all I'm doing is I have a couple little, I'm using up some scrap little pieces of metal coils that I had in my closet that I've used parts of them, and these are, like I said, 3/4 inch. I've got some silver and some black pieces. So I'm going to use the silver on this one. The other one was black. And all you do, if you don't have one of these, this is also one of the first things I bought when I started making journals, because I didn't sew them together in signatures when I first started. I used this and notebook rings. So, and I still do both of those, but not as often as I would like, right? Okay, so I'm just going to grab a chunk here, and put them in my little bind it all here. This one is called a Zutter Bind It All. And I just, see, I'm making 6 holes, and that's how many holes this binder, this little, it's really kind of like a hole punch, I would say. This little hole punch makes at one time, right? So I'm just going to line, all I did was line it up and kind of, I put it on a nice solid part of my table here, and then line it up, center the little holes on to my, what I'm punching here. So it looks like it's centered. I'm eyeballing it. You can measure if you need to, if you you know, happen to get one of these, or maybe you already have one and you always measure. But yeah, I'm just kind of doing this, centering it on the hole, centering the holes on my paper. And the thing is, you got to make sure that your holes are all the way on to your thing that you're punching. Like, you don't want to punch a hole that ends up being a half a hole, you know what I mean? And then the other part is down here and it's kind of not centered. So I'm centering it so that a little bit of my book is past this hole and a little bit of my book is past this hole at the top. So I'm going to look at it and make sure it's where I kind of did this to tighten it down and make sure it's where I want it, because I want, the thing is, you have to punch all of your little chunks here that you put in here to punch the same. So yeah, so then you have it in there, and you just, so you have a little thing over here, a little like stabilizer that you pull out, and this isn't being used right now. This is for squeezing the coils together, but make sure you don't put your fingers in there. I kind of put my hand out here on this little knob, and then you just punch. It's, you know, this is a simple little machine here, nothing complicated really. And there I have my little holes, 6 holes, and I go ahead and take my little coils. I already cut this one to 6 size and put them in here. Okay, so I got my little booklet or notebook or junk journal, whatever you want to call it, started. Okay, then I'm going to take another chunk. So we're going to do some chunks here the same way as I did that one, and then get our little book together. Kind of want to make sure I don't have too many of the same here together. Like this one has several of these little cream colored. So I'm going to shuffle those around a little bit. Let me put some over here in this pile. I only did one shuffle this morning, so a little bit more shuffling here. Make sure I don't have too many pieces of paper together that are the same. Yeah, those are pretty much all different. Okay, so another, and I don't try to rush on this because I want to get it right. So again, centering the holes on my paper, try to make sure the same amount is above the top, same amount of paper is above the below the bottom there, and I get a good look at it. Let's see, I want to move it down just a hair, keep everything even. Okay, I think we are ready to punch. Again, don't put your finger, I've done that before, that's what I'm saying, don't put your fingers in here. See how that little thing comes out? You'll squish your finger if you're not careful. So, see how my holes are? All right, put that chunk on there. So you keep it all, I put it on there so it stays all together, you know. Doesn't get separated, so I go ahead and put it right on there. Well, get it right in the little things. There we go. Next little chunk, and I'm not counting the pages or anything. I'm just like putting them in there until I think it's enough, until I think it's full, as much as the little coils can hold, right? Okay, so another little chunk here. So this is a fun little project, right? And it's so super cute. See, that one's really close to the top. Let's see how it looks on here. I'm sure it'll be fine, but here's how it's looking so far. Looking good, looking good. Okay, I kind of pulled out, I guess, as many as I thought would fit in here, but we'll see if all these fit. Okay, so let me see what we got here. Might need to do a little shuffling here. Let me do a little shuffling. This is just how I shuffle, just like you do a deck of cards. Not the professional way of shuffling cards, just kind of, you know, mixing it up a little bit. Mixing it up, you know. We want our pages. We don't want all of our pages the same together, right? So mix it up a little bit. I even have some vintage record sleeve paper in here. I just everything, you know what I mean? Okay, let me put a couple of those back in here. What I had. It's copy dyed paper. Okay, let's see if we can do this chunk, and let's see if that's enough, or do we need more? Okay. Okay, so yeah, we're punching this. I've got it. Let me see if I've got it even. Looks even to me. What do you think? I put a little bit more in there. It might be too much. Yeah, let me take a few pieces. Let me take about a few pieces out here. I put a little bit. Oh, I've got my cardstock in there too. That's why. It's like, too much, Sherry. Okay. I'll try it again. Make sure it's still centered. Still centered. I'm going to move it up a little bit. I'm glad I didn't punch yet. Because that, like I said, you got to make sure that it's a little bit above the top, a little bit below the bottom. Okay, I think we're good to go there. Okay, sorry, I'm shaking the table probably, but that's what happens when you punch on paper. Okay, now let's see if this is going to be enough. Oh yeah, that's pretty chunky. That's about like the other one, about 1/2 inch. Okay, now we can punch. We got our back cover here. Punch the rest of this. And then I'll show you how we close it up, in case you've never seen it before. Or if you have, it's just fun, a fun little project. Okay, there we go. And pretty quick too, right? Okay, keep it together. Put it in your little holes. And there you go. Now we're going to squish it in here. So this is 3/4 inch. So what you should really do is look at these have measurements in here. And you, let's see, I'm trying to see what it's on. Just a second, just 1 second. Okay, so they have little measurements here, little lines according to your coil size, right? So they have 1 inch, and I just moved it up to 3/4 inch. This little button here, you turn, and it moves this back and forth, right? So then you have it like this. You have your coil on there, and you just see how I have it kind of centered like that. Just kind of center it where the opening is centered on your booklet, and then you just put it down in there and squish it together with your little lever again. It brings this side in like it was before, but now we're using it. Kind of just hold it straight, I guess, and then just squish it together kind of all the way, because you've got it on the measurement that it needs to squish this together in the proper, you know, amount. So squish it together, and I'm going to look at it real quick, see what it looks like. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. I didn't go all the way. I just went almost all the way because it looked like it was coming together. So then all I do is I took my little wire cutters that I use for my jewelry, you know, making and bead dangles and things. And there's a little point, you know, sharp piece right there. I usually cut that off. And let's see if I can cut it. This is kind of, the coils are kind of a lot thicker than like the head pins and things that we use for making bead dangles. So you kind of really got to squish down there at the right angle. But there you go. Another little booklet, and isn't it cute? With the coils. Now I've seen seen where people were putting them up here. The coils were up here making little flip ups, and I could have done that. Excuse me, but I wanted to do it on the side. I thought it's more like a booklet, right? When it's on the side like that. So adorable, right? Isn't that cute? And then you have all these little pieces of paper you can write on, you can glue on, and just have fun with a little. mini junk journal. So, like I said, I'm not counting the pages, and I'm going to put these two in my shop, and you know, they're available. And I'm going to make some more as I have time. I just, you know, this is kind of like in between project, if you know what I mean. Like I'm always doing something, right? Whether I'm on camera or off camera. So this is my kind of off camera, but I wanted to show you because they're so cute and fun. And if you have a bind it all, maybe just a little reminder like, hey, you can make some of these little booklets. They're so cute. So I'm going to make some more of those. And let's see, I showed you everything. So I'm going to end this video here and come back with, because I don't think I have enough time right now, but I got my Postal Love. This is my Postal Love for, this is September. This is for August. So I'm going to open this in my next, in one of my next videos. So look for that this week, and I will see you all next time. Oh, wait, one more thing. Hold on. Don't go away. Don't go away. I have one more thing to show you in between project. I made these little earrings out of some of the filigree BB craft, you know, and I just put a little bronze, and Maria did this too. And I was thinking about doing it, but Maria beat me to it. She did it before me. So anyway, we always think about doing the same things, you know, like she'll do a video and I'm like, oh, I was going to do that too. And I'll do a video and she's like, oh, I was going to do that too. It's so funny how we think alike. But anyway, I just added a little earring hook with a jump ring, all bronze. You see that? And then I added a little bead down here on the bottom, just a jump ring with a little seed bead, kind of a you know, one that matched the bronze, whole bronze thing going on. And it's neutral, so it can go with anything. So I had made that pair of earrings there. So that's a pretty pair of earrings. And I'm putting the earrings and jewelry that I make in my other shop, Sherry's Tees, which they're not in there yet, but they will be. I've got the 2 Heishi bead bracelets in there so far, and that's all I've had time to do. And then this pretty pair of filigree right here. I took that, did the same thing, you know, added a little earring dangle hook here, you know, and then added 3 little seed beads on the bottom here. Can you see those? They're a little blue, like there's a light blue one in the middle, and then a, you know, darker, no, it's not dark blue, but you know, you can see it's kind of like a sky blue there on either side. So it's got 3 little bead dangles. Aren't those pretty? Pretty little earrings, or they're not little, but I like big, you know, I like little and big. I always wear the dangle so I can wear them at the office and not have it in the way of being on the phone, because sometimes I have to be on the phone at the office, and if I have something really close to my earlobe, it gets in the way of the phone. So I like to wear the dangly ones, so big or small. So this is totally something I would wear, and I love it. So I just wanted to show you that, another little project I've been doing off camera. So all kinds of crafty fun going on here. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching today. Happy crafting.